International, bringing you the best and brightest leaders of our generation. I'm here with Judah Smith. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks.
We're at Calibrate Northwest. Judah just got done speaking. Man, you're part of a phenomenon right now that's taking place in the church where there's those that are in the late 20s, early 30s that are either planning churches or taking the baton of churches. What do you think the effects on the church are?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just think that there's a generation that is a certain age. It's kind of a wave. I'm sure this has happened in history before. I think it's exciting, and I think the reason I'm most excited about a lot of the change is there seems to be a willingness to honor what's been done before us. Yeah. And I feel like if we honor what's before us, we can build from there rather than starting all over again and reinventing the wheel, if you will. So I think that's the excitement for me. And then just seeing, it's always exciting, I think, seeing a new generation step up and give way for new voices. And it's exciting to be a part in any way that I am.
You've got to experience running a successful youth ministry, and I'm sure there's a weight with that. But can you speak to the difference that you feel as the lead pastor versus, the youth pastor?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest difference is the amount of decisions that you make. And I think, Jesus says his yoke is easy, his burden is light, but he didn't say that there wasn't a yoke and there wasn't a burden. So, I really believe in grace and learning to just rest in his love, and his grace is sufficient for me to do the job. But nonetheless, there is a burden and a weight, and I think it's always the looming decisions that are pending that need to be made. Right. And ultimately, I have a great board of elders, and of course my mom and dad, who are elders and mentors and the primary voice in my life, helping me make the right decision. But it is a crazy thing when you're looking at a pretty massive organization and you're kind of the guy making the decision. It's like, oh God. And it certainly helps develop a prayer life.
I bet. You just mentioned mentors. What do you see as the importance of mentors for these young leaders?
Well, no doubt, if you don't have people that have gone on before you, you're doomed to repeat the mistakes that have happened before you. So yeah, I think it's absolutely imperative for a number of levels. I think just having an apostolic voice, I know we don't use that term a lot, having someone you can look to and say, man, that's kind of where I see our church headed. That's the kind of marriage I want. Those are the kind of kids I want to raise. And so my mom and dad are first and foremost my pastors. And then Pastors Brian and Bobby Houston at Hillsong Church become my pastors and have a real significant role in my life. And I really look to them as kind of what I believe our church is heading towards and things that we can realize here in Seattle. And then, of course, just surrounded on a daily basis by an incredible team, and several of which are very near and dear to me, who will call me on all kind of stuff. So
that's awesome. You are outspoken about your love for your wife, and obviously the way you dress, you're outspoken, at least for somewhat of a passion for fashion.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Would you rather, let's say, have your wife be bearded for the rest of your life, or be forced to wear cross colors? You remember cross colors?
Yeah.
Cross colors for the rest of your life.
Yeah, cross colors, because I could, when I got naked, it wouldn't affect sex, but a beard would affect that, and I'm not willing to sacrifice that. That's a no-brainer.
That's a no-brainer. Your church is very, your ministry, the church is very pro husband-wife teams. Is that something that's just kind of been a core foundation of the City Church? Do you guys do that on purpose? Or?
Yeah, I think some of it's on purpose, but hopefully a lot of it is really rooted in gifting and ability, and I think we have several wives in our church who are, I don't have several wives, but we have several guys who have a wife who is gifted, just clarification. Who are really gifted and talented. And I think the power of a husband and wife, I mean, God's the one who instituted the family unit, and I think a husband and wife complement each other almost naturally, and that's why they got married in the first place. Right. So it's amazing what dynamics come from a husband and wife team. It's not always the case in our church, right, but when it's applicable and when there's that gift mix, it's pretty dynamic.
You and your wife are a great team, and your family as a whole has been, gone through a tremendous journey of faith. Can you speak to what it's been like really to take over all the emotions and really the leading through these hard times? What has that been like?
Yeah, it's been incredibly emotional and sometimes exhilarating and sometimes incredibly painful. I think in all of it, you certainly start to consider, as I'm sure anyone does in trauma or pain, what's really most important. And for us, it's been a fantastic opportunity to remember again the importance importance and simplicity of the person of Jesus and the message of the gospel. And so I think as a result of a number of things, including the journey we've been on with my dad and his fight of faith with multiple myeloma, we're on a journey as a family and a church, just returning to the centrality and supremacy of Jesus. And it's exciting, and it's simple, and it's you can find a lot of solace and comfort in the power and sufficiency of Jesus Christ. So again, God works all things together for good, and He's an amazing God that way.
Since taking over the church and like you said, building upon the foundation that your father laid, you guys have grown, and you're doing some different things. You guys have you've done some redecorating to your stage, bringing things up a little bit, and you've even messed with services a little bit, with songs and when you're putting in worship and whatnot. Can you speak to just the willingness to try things, or?
Yeah, I think hopefully the reason I think a lot, but the reason that's right, the reason we can try some new things is hopefully the firm foundation of honor, which I think breeds a lot of security in people, and my passion to really add value to the 18 years that have passed and what's been established, hopefully breeds security in the people that, hey, we're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, we're not going to reinvent the wheel here, but we are going to update some things, tweak some things to hopefully make us all the more effective in presenting Jesus and the gospel of grace. So that's really the hope and the spirit behind it, and we need a lot more lights and a lot more cool stuff, but it's a start.
One of the major shows, people are in the reality shows, and there's the Man versus Wild. Who do you think would actually last longer in the wilderness if you were to take Brian Houston and say Carl Lentz, and why?
Oh, Brian Houston, without a doubt. The Bishop would last infinitely longer. Carl would not last long at all. Him and I both, there'd be no hair dryers. Carl certainly would take advantage to take off his shirt. He would love that and kind of get into the whole Tarzan motif.
For sure, yeah.
But him and I would die quickly, and the Bishop, Pastor Brian, would live on easily. He's ingenious that way, innovative.
Right.
Carl and I would probably start eating each other or something.
Supper. There we go. Hey, thanks so much, Pastor Judah, for everything that you do.